Hey guys, Steve here from Tech Toy Tinker and Retro Arena. I just wanted to take a quick moment to give you guys an update on the status of the build for the RG351P and 351M. We already know about the video playback in Moonlight, we've seen that before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go quickly through the systems, very quickly because I've done that before a little bit as well. Open bore has been added to the menu thanks to Christian Haitian, so you don't have to drop your packs in there anymore. You just put them into its ROMs folder, and there's a script that'll copy it over, run the game, and then delete it when you exit. This is Solaris, the Zelda launcher. There's other games too, but most of them are Zelda related. We know about most of this stuff. I'm just going to scroll through real quick, and I'll stop when I get to some stuff I want to talk about. Oh, we're coming up to the first one. Actually, I bypassed it. Let's use this game. So I sat down, I talked to Christian, and did some digging and some research, and I've enabled vibration on the build for this unit. I don't really, I guess, need to play the game to show you that, because you won't be able to hear it most likely, but I'm doing it to show you. When you go into a lot of games, like say PSX for example, you need to go to key configurations and you need to turn vibration to on a lot of the time. And even though it's already on for me now, I'm going to show you in the menu specifically how to do it as well, because people like visuals. So, go to quick menu, options, and you want to make sure this is enabled vibration. You also want to go to controls. Port 1 controller, you want to make sure that you have DualShock enabled, and you want to turn off analog to digital because it will get in the way and interfere with your game. At that point, you can then play the game and it will vibrate for you. So there's PlayStation with vibrate. Game Boy Color, there's a few games that vibrate, and because I took I was given the cores by Christian, so Pokemini supports vibrate. Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance, though there's a few games from each of those that support vibrate. But the most important development here, I think, is that earlier today I was able to successfully compile a Flycast 32 core that is Rumble enabled. Now, the reason why the 32 is significant is because performance is significantly better. And I'm going to take a couple of minutes here in this video to actually show you the differences in performance between Flycast 32 with Rumble, and Flycast 64. This is 32 with Rumble that comes built into the emulation station menu with this build on this device. On the Odroid Go Super, it uses Retro Run instead of Retro Arch because the performance is undoubtedly better. But it is cool to be able to feel your games rumble, since the PlayStation, like, the PlayStation 1, maybe only like 20 games support that feature because it came out later in the console's life, whereas the Dreamcast launched with vibration. You can't hear it, but it's vibrating the whole time when I'm hitting bumps and everything. It does hit a little bit of lag, like if I get into a big traffic jam or something. Sometimes it'll lag, not always. But there you go, see. It's usually intermittent, it happens for a couple seconds or a few seconds, then clears up again, so it's not a huge deal. There we go, you can see it now, or hear it now. So that being said, not all Dreamcast games are created equal. There are a large number of games that are for sure playable. There's a decent amount of games that are really, really good. But there's also a fair amount of games that are not playable too, so you kind of gotta test the waters, so to speak. The same is true with NAOMI. I went through probably about half of the collection, and I want to say out of the half of the collection I put onto my thing, maybe half of that was playable. So you got to go through it and just sort of test it out. I'm playing this for a reason here, Crazy Taxi 2, because people were saying that this game is unplayable, and I don't think that that's the case. I'm going to show you guys so you can form your own opinion.
We're back. It's party time. Let's have Crazy Taxi. It's party time. Let's alright. Let's go make some crazy. Go ahead and pick a hard drive down again. Jones. Hey, it's time to make some crazy money. Are you ready? Here we go.
See, that's the lag spike there. But I mean, if that's all that it is, I don't think that that makes a game unplayable. It's not perfect, but this really seems playable to me. Despite the fact that I'm not driving that well. You get the point, though. I wouldn't say this is unplayable. It's very responsive. It's not slowed down at all. It just has some occasional lag hiccups in the audio. There, see? That's as bad as it gets. I don't think that that makes it unplayable. I'm not going to go through every game, but just so you know, the ones you are seeing on your screen are ones that I've been playing around with and that work good or decently well, enough to actually be usable. I also went ahead and I put Saturn back because I started going through and testing some of the library, and I realized that you know, a lot of the games are playable, especially the 2D ones. It may have a little bit of choppiness, like you'll hear when the BIOS kicks in, when you see the BIOS menu, that'll be choppy for some reason, and maybe a little bit of the game menu, but inside the game it's fine. So you can hear that. It's a little bit. You can just skip it by pressing A, by the way, so you don't have to listen to that either. It's just odd that the BIOS would be clipping in the audio and the game itself wouldn't. You would think that it requires more to run the game than it does to run the BIOS. Would be my assumption anyway. Like I said, the menu itself in some games isn't great, but the gameplay, you'll see what I mean in a minute. Like the menu on this game was going to just freeze and hang there. It was still going to do its thing and play the sequence and whatever, but it just was going to like be choppy about it. So you skip it. Again, though, it comes down to a matter of personal preference, but I don't think having a choppy menu makes a game unplayable or is a deal breaker. Having a choppy gameplay experience is kind of a deal breaker, yes, but not the menu. I personally don't care that much about the game menu. Not nearly as much as I would about the gameplay. Oops. And as we can see here, though, on the actual gameplay front, as I was saying, it's fine. The thing is here, you're going to want to... Oh, I guess it's already overridden. If you don't save it, you're going to have to go back in and rebind your joystick to left analog after playing Dreamcast, unless you've saved the core override already. But yeah, like, there's no lag here. This is fine. When you exit, it will hang for a second, but not an overly long time. I'm just going to show you right now. Just a couple seconds, nothing crazy. Saturn Bomberman, I will show you this too. This game is a tad bit slow, but not broken or unplayably slow. It's just you can visibly see that it's a slight bit slower than it should be. Yabasanshiro does support frame skip. I don't want to crank it too high. And also, on a side note too, I am working on both Yabasanshiro and Flycast standalone emulators, trying to get those to build and work on these devices, the Odroid Go Super and this as well. The Odroid Go Super is my primary device. This is a close second, though. First, it's the hard kernel handhelds, but this is... I'm not normally a big fan of the clones, like the RK2020 and those devices. I don't really care for them. I'm not going to lie to you people. But this particular device, it just feels really well made. It's heavy, it's solid. I can squeeze it, and I don't have any concern that I'm going to hurt it. And I think that that's a positive. Who doesn't love this menu? You can hear a tiny bit of like distortion in the audio there. It's basically, I'm just hoping that the standalone version will be just a little bit less resource needy, and that little bit of difference will clear up the audio and maybe, make gameplay just a little better. It's not bad now, it just always has room for improvement. You can always make it better. Here, I'll show you what I mean. See, like, it's not terrible. It doesn't sound like it's lagging horribly. It just seems the tiniest bit slow. It doesn't even seem like it's, just a little bit. So what you could do is you could go in here. No, oops, wrong button. You can go into the quick menu here. And there's frame skip options in here. You can change the memory card from 4 to 1 megabytes or what's in there. Different stuff like that. But on that front, so we got Saturn back. We've got rumbling Flycast. I've added several new ports. We have 95 systems, 20 ports, 5 game engines currently, with Moonlight video playback and music playback. RetroArch has net play enabled as well. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this video, just giving you guys a quick update on the build status. I don't have an exact release date yet, but I do know that I'm planning to do it in the next few days. I'm just waiting on a couple updates from some other things to see how those pan out, because if it works out well, I'm going to add them, obviously. But other than that, it's pretty much ready. I'm just going to tweak it and add what little bits I can here and there. Anyways, thanks for watching as always. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Take care.